he's going to make them.
I think last week or something, I heard a midrash saying that Joseph's wife was Dinah's daughter. Yeah, that's okay. Trying to put the preferences or the special, but right here it says, on the 15 it says, these are the sons of Leah that she bore to Jacob in Padam Aram, and Dinah his daughter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that midrash does not apply. Yeah, and the other thing is that there's a lot of versions as to how many people came or they were counted as Jacob's family. And right here on the Torah says 70, including Ephraim and Manasseh. The rest is just midrash, So we just got to go by the Torah. Yeah.
I do want to say there is a lot of, and I'm sorry if I'm taking up too much time, whatever.
No
The anti-missionaries will take the account of Stephen, and they'll say that he will, we can't count on this account because he said 73, and we have to realize that this is a man who was about to be killed. He was about to be stoned to death. I give him a little bit of leeway. Also, this is taken in a fourth or fifth account, of hearsay. So we can't discount a set of writings just because one person got the number wrong. So, and he could have been, listened to a teacher that got a different number. So I think sometimes in this particular way where they're talking about Stephen said there were 73 souls that came back. And I think we can, give him a little bit of leeway and not discount the Basora just on account of one eyewitness.
Yeah.
They didn't have libraries, let alone internet fact checkers back then, 2,000 years ago.
I want to add something that found my notes on what happened on when the Pharaoh see the brothers and he says, and if you know that they are capable men among them, make them livestock officers over what is mine. Well, I think in the first one who says that the land of Goshen was going to be for them was Joseph, not the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh, I guess, it went along, but I think now this is a midrash. The first thought was Joseph to separate his family from Egypt. Okay. But when Pharaoh says, put them as officers of what is mine, that's when the closeness to the Egyptians or the assimilation began, because they have to live with them, and I guess that's what if they're going to be the officers, they need houses, they need a lot of things from the Egyptians. So that's when the assimilation began, right there when they came. That's why all that led up for them to be slaves in the future, which is what initially was the plan, Hashem's plans, because Hashem needed Joseph to be in jail so he can be the second in command. Okay, and they need Jacob to come down to Egypt so he can so they can grow. And he says, I'll make you a great nation. Okay, he will make you a great nation. Why? Because he's in the open and the desert. They will not be growing protected as they were by the Egyptians, because they were and the protection of the Egyptians. So that is why it was necessary for them to be in Goshen. And that's why they on the next portions, we're going to see that it says, and they populate so much that the Egyptians were afraid of them. But that was the plans. And another thing is they needed to be in Egypt. Why? If we look at the Jacob's, what was it? It's just a tribe, okay? Do they know anything about writing? Maybe, maybe not, okay? Do they know anything about working with gold? Maybe not. You know, they don't even work the land because they were shepherds. So they needed to be in a nation that it was already formed, so they can learn the trades, so they can learn the agricultural, dealing with the gold, dealing with hold on for a second, all the things that he needed in this, so they can be what do you call it? They could be their own nation, the great nation later. But why? They already have the basic that they took, that they learned from the Egyptians. And we see that when Moshe went out, he already had scribes that he was with them, and he was telling them, you know, write this, you know. And then when it says, you know, I can remember the name right now, because he is, I give him the spirit so he can work on the goal. Well, Hashem given the spirit, but they already have a base, you know, a minimum base for that. And that was the idea behind them to be in Egypt. Yeah, it took 200 something years. Yeah, but that was the necessity of it, you know, because Egypt at that point, it was like the United States right now. You know, a lot of us, we see coming from South America and other countries, Africa, whatever. You know, we see that what we have over there is very limited. But when we come over here, it has the abundance. We learn new things, and everything is possible. But when we are down there, it's very limited. You know, what we know, and what we can do. So we learn new things to evolve, and that's exactly what happened with the people of with Jacob's family. They had to evolve. They learn things. Yeah, they also learn bad things. You know, but that was the purpose of them being in Egypt.
I could see that. Good and bad.
Tree of knowledge of good and evil. We had to eat it. All right. I was debating a conservative rabbi once, which fortified my faith in Orthodox Judaism. Basically, we're talking about how I think there were wars and conflicts going on in the world, as there always are and will be until Mashiach comes. But he was saying that, I was saying, you know, God is in complete control. I said in the book of Daniel, or I don't remember, maybe not Daniel. Throughout the Bible, there's various verses that talk about how God is in control of kings. God controlled Pharaoh's heart. God controlled, in Daniel, it says that he sets up kings and then he brings them down. So he's in complete control. But this rabbi said, well, that's only when it involves the nation of Israel. If it doesn't involve the nation of Israel, God is not necessarily involved. He doesn't have to get involved. We don't have to think that he's involved. Now it says here in our parsha, in the Aliyah, the fifth Aliyah, in verse 27, it says, and Joseph's sons were born to him in Egypt, 2 souls. All the souls of the house of Jacob who came to Egypt were 70. And we all know that 70 in the Bible, in the Torah, it stands for the nations, just like the 70 sacrifices during Sukkot that were for the nations. Rabbi Nachman, regarding this verse, says, the 70 souls of Jacob's household correspond to the 70 faces of the Torah. These souls were the roots of the Jewish nation. Each one has a corresponding root in the Torah itself, and thus can always connect to the Torah. So we know about that too, right? Most of us hear that there's 70 faces to the Torah. Countering these 70 nations, he goes on to say, these 70 souls, he goes on to say, Rabbi Nachman goes on to say, countering these 70 souls are 70 nations enumerated in Genesis 10. Evil characteristics that can distance a person from his divine root. When a Jew recognizes himself as a descendant of Jacob, he can draw upon the 70 faces of the Torah for inspiration. If he does not recognize himself as a descendant of Jacob, and he is alienated from the Torah, then he draws his inspiration from the 70 nations. That's an interesting parallel. And it ties back to the verse, of course, just really fascinating in Deuteronomy, where it says that the Most High, this is Deuteronomy 32:8, the Most High divided the inheritance of the nations. When the Most High divided their inheritance to the nations, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the boundaries of the peoples according to the number of the children of Israel. So it's saying that even the way that the nations are divided, they're divided still, their division, the division of the nations is also based on Israel. The whole world revolves around Israel, God, and his Torah. And there is a destiny for all the world written in the Torah. So there's no such thing as only if the nation is affecting Israel. All the nations have a part in the divine plan, of which Israel is the center. And it's also prophesied that, all nations will go against Israel in the last days. And so all these wars and all these alliances, and all this fighting going on, they're all leading to the culmination. And they're all leading to Mashiach as well.